Hi, everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Lunimi Maseko, and on this channel, I aim to help you enhance your quality of life, whether it's professionally, personally, or academically. So, before I get straight into this video, I wanted to thank you all so much for helping me to grow this channel. Over the past couple of weeks, I've seen that the channel has grown, and I want to thank you all so much for those who subscribed or left comments on some of my videos or chose to just engage with it. I am so thankful to you. So let's get straight into this video. The topic of today's video is why I beg of you to complete your education. So the reason why I was inspired to make this video is because I feel that this society, more and more, is encouraging us to get dumber. Okay, what do I mean by that? So, in a society where technology, iPhones, iPads, social media is rapidly at our disposal and we have access to them immediately, it causes us to rely on those gadgets to mostly think. And also with the rise of artificial intelligence like AI, ChatGPT, we are exposed to all sorts of advanced technology that more and more is causing us to decrease our ability to critically think and increase our over dependence on gadgets and technology. So, another reason why I wanted to make this video is because I think that in our current society, I have seen so many people, whether it was people close to me or just people from afar, I have seen how a lot of people, once upon a time, they were enrolled in school, they were pursuing their studies, and all of a sudden they dropped out. I've had friends, for example, or I've known people who they were once upon a time pursuing a degree and they had to completely suspend their education, their studies, because they were distracted by their relationships, distracted by other things. And I want to specifically mention that there are cases where we tend to, as girls, if you're a woman watching this, when you are in a relationship with a guy, right? You tend to focus on that relationship and it gets to the point where, let's say, one day the guy chooses to break up with you and the next day you have an exam, or let's say you got into an argument with your boyfriend, or if you're a guy watching this, you got into an argument with your girlfriend and you know that you have an essay that's due, or you have a project assignment of school that is due, but because you're really focused on your relationship and on that person, you will even go as far as to temporarily suspend your responsibilities, academic responsibilities, whether it's like by not showing up in your exam or by dropping out of the semester or by not pursuing your studies, right? And mind you, this video isn't to bash you at all, okay? The reason why I'm making this video is because I see this pattern. I have seen this pattern among some of friends that I've known for the longest time. And I've seen how, because they were in a relationship, they completely put their entire lives on hold in order to focus on their relationship. And as a result, they couldn't complete their studies, they couldn't finish an exam, they couldn't submit a project on time, all because of the people that they were in a relationship with, right? So I think that love is a beautiful thing, right? And this video isn't, I'm not making this video to say that you must absolutely not be in a relationship in order to complete your education. No, that's not what I mean. But I think that it's important to compartmentalize things. I think that when you are in the process of completing your education, whether for example, you're watching this video, whether you're in college and you're trying to get your college degree, or whether you're in university and you're trying to get your bachelor's degree or your master's degree, or heck, maybe you're in high school, right? And you're trying to get your high school diploma, right? I think that it's really important to understand that, okay, this degree is something that, or this diploma is something that I need to get so that I can get to the next chapter of my life. I can get to the next stage of my life, whether it's getting a job, getting an internship, getting exposed to a lot of opportunities, right? That you would not be exposed to if you didn't focus, study, and concentrate on doing well in your projects or exams. Now, I used to be, once upon a time, somebody who wanted to drop out of school. I remember I was in college and I was really over the whole like rudimentary routine of going to school, sitting in class for hours, listening to professors talk on and on and on about topics that I really didn't care about, and just being stuck. I felt stuck in school and I felt that I wasn't passionate about the things that I was studying. And I remember I was telling my parents, I said, Mom, Dad, I no longer want to continue my college experience. I want to drop out. And I can't thank my parents enough. I believe this was almost 10 years ago when I made that remark that I wanted to drop out of school. I remember when I told them that I wanted to drop out of school, they were calm about the situation and they said, look, I know that that's how you're feeling right now, but those feelings are temporary. I remember my dad said something like that. That those feelings you're feeling about not wanting to complete your studies, they are temporary. Because I can assure you that later, your future self would need you to complete your diploma or your degree to be able to have better opportunities in your life. And when my dad told me that, I don't know, like, it's like something overnight switched in me. Yes, although in my college years, I didn't really like the program I was in, although I wanted to drop out, something in me just said, wait it out, finish your college degree. So I can stress enough how the future me is incredibly grateful that she heard those wise words from her father years ago when she wanted to drop out of school. And because of that, right now, I'm in the stage in my life where I have completed my master's and I'm expected to graduate in less than 3 weeks. That's glory to God, right? And how did I do it? I did it by knowing my priorities, and I put education at one of my top priority lists. Okay? Because I know what was at stake. I know that at the end of the day, I have parents that sacrifice so much for my sibling and I to be in a first world country. And I know the stakes. I know that there are so many millions of children in the world that are not in first world countries. They're in third world countries and they would dream to have an education opportunity. But their circumstances, political circumstances, or geographical circumstances are not allowing them to have that privilege of pursuing an education, right? So I think it's also about like understanding that so millions of children are around the world, millions of teenagers, millions of adults would do anything to be in your position. Let's say you are watching this video from a first world country and you don't really see the point of education. Well, take the time to think about how millions of people would do anything to be in your place right now. And when we're aware of the privilege and opportunities that are rapidly at our fingertips, it allows us to have this sense of gratitude and it allows us to maybe see things from a different pair of eyes. So that's something I want to highlight. So coming back to the point I made about how I've been exposed to, or I've had friends who, because of their relationship, they had to suspend their studies or go as far as to even drop out. of their semester. I want to say that find a way to compartmentalize. If this is something you're going through, like let's say you're in school, you're trying to pursue your a degree, but you're experiencing heartbreak and you don't think you're in the headspace to study. What I can give as an advice, as somebody that has also experienced heartbreak before, and I had to zone in and submit an assignment. The way I did things is that, look, at the end of the day, I told myself, your future self is depending on you right now. You can't turn back. You committed yourself to completing this semester, this course, and you are at the final stage. You're almost at the finish line. You have this final paper that is due, is worth so much of your final grade. Are you going to let it slip you by because of some guy that honestly wouldn't even care about you if you died tomorrow? I know this is cold. I know it's robotic, but when you tell yourself this over and over again, that your future self depends on you to show up academically and perform, you get this sense of urgency that you have something to commit to, and therefore you cannot let your future self down, right? And look, if you are in a situation where you are going through significant trauma, significant heartbreak, and you really just are not in the headspace, then by all means, I encourage you to take some time off. I mean, there are so many alternatives that are offered to us. For example, my university gives students the ability to discontinue, but it doesn't affect their final grades. Or the university gives students this opportunity, or colleges give students opportunities to seek a counselor. But I think that sometimes there are deadlines, right? For example, if you are doing your final assignment and it's due, but it's too late to drop out, and it's too late to drop out of the class so that it doesn't affect your final grade, then that's when I would highly encourage you to process your emotions separately by, let's say, journaling or seeing a counselor, like I mentioned earlier, but also telling yourself that your future self depends on you and you have to do whatever it takes to perform to the best of your ability. So, another reason why I am begging you to complete your degree is because it gives you this sense of security and stability, especially in a generation that favors the rise of influencers. So, today, this generation, Generation Z, we're lucky because we're exposed to technology. There's this ability for people to go online, become online entrepreneurs by selling products, by going viral through a video and getting paid for said video, or getting paid by brands if you are promoting their brands, right? And there's just so many ways to get money online. And that, I think, is we're very lucky as this generation, Generation Z, to have these type of opportunities. But on the other hand, I feel that it has caused us to also become complacent because we think that, okay, there's this ability to make money online, so why should I even bother to get a degree? This causes us to neglect traditional practices, which for me is about getting a degree. Because the thing is, look, yes, there's nothing wrong with wanting to establish yourself as an entrepreneur, get money online, but at the same time, there's something to be said about how unstable the market is. Heck, the example of tariffs that were imposed by the US president, right? And how said tariffs has upended the global economy like we've never seen before, and how it has affected millions of jobs, right? Around the world. When we see things like that, and when we see that, okay, we can't really rely on like the market because it's unstable, just having the sense of security through getting an education is so paramount, right? And I know for some of you guys that are probably watching this, you'd say, yeah, but Loni me, you're saying this, but hey, for example, I completed my degree and I'm trying to find a job, and it's so hard to find a job right now, especially in today's economy. I don't know where to even get a job. Like, I am well established, I'm well educated, but I feel like my degree is useless. While I hear that you're saying that, and I completely can understand where you're coming from, at the same time, I don't want you to look at it from a short term lens. Because you see, yes, it may take you time to find a job, and you may feel like you just graduated and your degree means nothing to you. So why should you encourage other people to get a degree? Or let's say, for example, you're probably watching this video and you're in the process of trying to gain your degree, but you don't feel like completing your degree is worth anything to you, because everywhere you turn, you feel like people are complaining about how they got a degree and it didn't get them anywhere. Look, I want to say that while I understand how frustrating it is, while I understand that you're not seeing rapid results from the hard labor you put into completing your degree, I want you to have a mentality of looking at the bigger picture. It's not because you're seeing that things aren't happening for you in the moment that you immediately give up and turn the other cheek, because it's in these little moments of uncertainty, moments where you don't really know what's going to happen, that your resilience is built, right? And by you pursuing a degree, you're going to find that later in your life, an employer would hire you because you completed that degree, as opposed to another person who honestly, like, they didn't really complete a degree, they didn't really have kind of like credentials that they were looking for, so they neglected, or they didn't really feel the need to hire them. That's what I mean. So I think that it's really important to look at things from the long term and look at the bigger picture, right? And I know that it's frustrating. I know that a lot of people have been exposed to situations where they've seen other people graduate, get a degree, and they didn't find a job. Immediately took them so long to find a job, and therefore it causes people to give up. But I want to say, please don't give up, because, like I said, it all boils down to the privilege that we to have this ability to pursue an education. Education is a privilege. The last point I want to make about why I'm begging you to complete your education is because it gives you this ability to critically think and enhance your intellectual capabilities. So this all circles back to what I was saying earlier about how the society wants to make us dumber and wants to distract us. So with social media at our fingertips and our ability to be scrolling online endlessly, we have lost this ability to concentrate, and our capacity to retain our attention has dwindled down significantly, right? For example, it's very, very hard for people to even open a book and read the book for more than like 10 minutes, because they feel like their brain is fried, like they can't concentrate. Their brain needs to be stimulated by online content, right? And I'll even give an example. There was a time when I was in the metro, or I was getting down from the metro, and I was waiting for my bus, and I was reading a book. Or to be specific, I was reading a manga, and this old lady that was sitting next to me, she was playing some crossword game. She gave the comment that, wow, she said something along the lines of, wow, like, I'm very glad you're reading. I can't even remember the last time I saw somebody in public that was reading, because people are always glued to their phones. And mind you, I'm not saying the story so that you can say, wow, like, you did a good thing. Like, I know. The reason why I find this story incredibly fascinating is because I somewhat agreed with her. I think that, like I said, because we have gadgets and we have technology, advanced technology, and we are living in a digitized world, we are losing our ability to critically think and to apply strategic thinking, to have spatial awareness, to stimulate our intellectual skills, right? And because of that, it's very rare. Like, it's true. Like, when I go to the metro, or you can even test this out yourself, if you go to a public setting, if you go to any event where there's a huge number of people there, you will see that a lot of people are glued to their phones. It's like we're losing our ability to interact and to socialize because of our gadgets, right? And it's very rare. Like, honestly, when I go in public, it's rare for people to even be reading a book. Yes, I see some of them, but it's not like common. You know what I mean? And like, if you're reading a book, it's like people almost like, whether it's, even if they're not vocalizing it, it's like people, they don't even like, it's rare to see that. That's what I mean, right? Because everybody's just glued to their phone. So I think that, coming back to what I was saying about why I think it's so important for you to complete your degree, is that it really helps you to enhance your intellectual capabilities. And let's say, for example, you're somebody, you are trying to complete your studies, or let's say you're somebody who you feel like enrolling in school is so expensive for you, and you don't have the means, economic means, to do that. Then that's okay. Like, there, that's the beauty about the generation we live right now. Like, there are so many resources that you can acquire. You can buy books. Books are amazing resources to be able to expand your vocabulary and learn a lot of new things, right? And you can even learn so many different games like jigsaw puzzles. If you're into those, like, they really, there's so many benefits of playing jigsaw puzzles. 1000 jigsaw puzzles, for example, I've been doing that with my sister when we were younger, and I can't stress enough how that has really, really helped us growing up to adopt solution oriented techniques. And there's so many other games you could play, like chess, um so many games that really require you to apply strategic, or develop your ability to critically think and your ability to strategically think as well. And also play games that help you to develop your spatial awareness. There's also this kind of this show that, oh my gosh, I'm so in love with it. It's this reality game show in South Korea. It's called The Devil's Plan, and that show really highlights different strategic games that contestants have to undergo to be able to finally, like, win a final prize. Like, the sole survivor that has been able to play all these games at the end would gain a lot of money. So yeah, just even by you watching shows that highlight strategic gameplays really helps you to understand different options that you have to be able to stimulate yourself intellectually. So if you made it to the end of this video, thank you. I hope that this video helped in shedding more light as to why I think it is so paramount that we complete our education, especially in today's world. Completing an education is one of the best things you can do for your future self, right? And no matter what you're going through in life, whether it is a mental struggle, whether it is a heartbreak, whether you are surrounded by people that don't encourage you to pursue your studies, I want you to know that I support you, okay? And if I went through a situation years ago where I felt like I wasn't smart, I felt like I didn't really need to complete my degree, my college degree, and I felt like things weren't looking up for me. If I went through that mindset shift over the years by prioritizing my education and I was able to plow through in that, then so can you, right? Pursuing an education would not only give you that stability in a rapidly ever shifting world, in a rapidly shifting digitalized society, but it also gives you that sense of establishment, and it gives you that confidence and that sense of individuality, and it helps you to critically think, right? Because you know that you put in so many hours, you disciplined yourself to invest so many hours into studying, and it paid off. So please, please, guys, like if you're watching this, by all means, I beg of you, complete your education, because tomorrow isn't promised and all you have is today. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.